As ubiquitous as 16th notes are in shred, when it comes to sweep arpeggios and the standard shapes, they're not really that 16th note friendly. But that's why I've composed this week's VIP challenge specifically to help you break out of that rut and discover a couple of ways that you can use these fairly standard sweep arpeggio patterns in a more 4/4 16th notes kind of context, so you're not stuck doing triplets and sextuplets all the time. Here's how it goes, and then let's take a closer look at what's going on. Alright, so we're moving along at a bit of a sort of a fast pace. With the particular skills that we're dealing with, this can be a bit challenging. We're at 144 BPM and we're in 4/4. Mostly we're in F sharp harmonic minor, but I did throw in some more Neapolitan minor as I have in some previous weeks too. It's such a cool sound. I just want to help you explore this. So I'm really just kind of exposing you to it a whole lot in these previous couple of VIP challenges. So right from the very start, what I find kind of interesting here is that even though I would normally do hammer-ons and pull-offs with a lot of these sweeps, I noticed that if you start on an upstroke, there's really no reason to hammer-on or pull-off at all. You can pick every single note, and that's what I did when I played this. I decided not to use my standard hammer-on or pull-off because I wanted a little bit more of an aggressive kind of tone to it. I wanted a pick attack on every single note. So you'll notice that when I started with the F sharp, I start with an upstroke, and it allows me to pick every single note. Up, down, 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 slide and up, down, drag across, up, 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 down. Now we turn around for the sweep. Up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, 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 up. Do a little inside pick here. Down, 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 up, down, up, 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 down. Every single note is picked. Even though you could totally do hammer-ons and pull-offs if you want, I decided to really see this through and try to do as much economy picking and sweep picking as I possibly can just to get a fairly uniform pick attack on all these notes. It was tough, I'll tell you that. But it's a really good feeling once you start to get it really tight. So I would really just take that beginning and just work on that even just a piece at a time. Even just the little pattern between those three sweeps. We have an F sharp minor, root inversion, slide up here. This becomes a D major here. We use the C sharp to transition into a B minor. And then we go up here. This becomes a G. Well, it's kind of a G Lydian, but you'll be thankful for that one little quarter note in there because it really kind of breaks things up and it gets you into the next section. I do want to talk about that B minor pattern right there, though. What's kind of cool about these original patterns here. 2 notes, 1, 1, 1, and then 2 notes. So you have 2 notes each on the outermost strings of these patterns. If I just loop it, just low to high to low, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which means 6 notes each way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes up, go up a note, and then do 6 notes back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So it really, again, it lends itself very much to 6s or 3s. But I found a long time ago that if you just simply repeat just those 2 notes on the outer strings, you actually get a nice 8-note pattern. So it just extends that 6-note pattern by 2, and now you're in 4/4 territory. So one kind of cool thing to do is do that for your ascending pattern, and then do this for your descending pattern. Right? It's really helpful for kind of getting into that more 16th note kind of accenting. So try that as you do this, just as a separate aside, a separate way of practicing this. It's a really nice exercise, and it's really good to kind of get that into your motor memory pretty early on, because that's really what this is built on. But what I do right after that is where you can kind of take it. All right, so practicing it as an exercise in one position is great, but really the great way to do this is to kind of move into another arpeggio, or even at least just another inversion of the same arpeggio, which is kind of how this moved from the B minor. All right, I was going to go into a B minor first inversion, but then I went, ooh, let's do that Neapolitan minor thing there, and that's where I went from here, where you basically play a major chord against another major chord a tritone away. I went to the flat 2 as a major, and then use it as a transition into the 5, which is majorized. So that's kind of what's going on here, from the B minor just slide. All right, and then you get to hold a note for 4 16th notes in a row. That's your luxury right there, right? So here, though, we go into the octave, and this is I forget what Bach piece I borrowed this from, but I think it was one of the B minor violin partitas. He had this really cool pattern where basically I've been using it a lot for the last couple of years since I taught myself, I forget which movement it was, but I did it here. Basically, so just it's a really cool 2-string way of sliding between your different inversions of a chord. And I like to do it where I'm kind of at the root, at the top. It's a little harder to move between some of the other inversions. So root, 5th, 3rd, go back up to that root, and then when you get your 5th again, you slide down to your 3rd on the same string. And so, yeah, I've been using the hell out of that in the last couple of years. It's such a handy little thing to just get some cool movement and different textures out of it, because you can do pull-offs, you're picking some of the notes, you're sliding between the notes, so there's a lot of interesting textures moving around in there. And you can accent it according to whatever you want, because it's a fairly, substantial phrase. Here, I just kind of did a little bit of a turn. Not really even a turn. That would have been a turn. But I kind of set it up to go back to the F sharp. This is where I switch over to diminished sevenths on the actual minor key root. Down a minor third. Back to the original. Up a minor third. Now I go into what was the 5 of the original harmonic minor key. So it's a C sharp major. Down an inversion, same chord. Now we get here. I almost just ended it right there, by the way. So it was just, but I just felt like that wasn't quite complete, right? So here, this is where I find that one of the toughest parts here too is you're hitting that last note on an upstroke, most likely, right? So at least I am, right? So up, up, up. So I'm kind of doing a burst of 16th notes at the end with alternate picking, but leading with the upstroke here. So up, and it's 4 fingers per string, just because why not? It's a melodic minor on the way up, plus the blues note. Not really the right context for calling it that, but it's the sharp 4 as well as the 4. This is the 5, major 6, major 7, root 2, minor 3rd, 4th, sharp 4, finish on the 5 again. So it's a diatonic octave plus 1 extra note, so that I get a full 8-note run plus a final note. And I wanted to start on the 5 and end on the 5. So that's why if you do a full octave, you're going to get your 8 notes. But then if you play the note after that as like punctuation, you either have to do a repeat note or you're going to end on a different note than the 5, and it's not going to be as resolved. So this shape combination can be a little bit much to take on, so just take it a little bit at a time. It's kind of convenient, at least as far as 4 finger per string stuff goes. Some of those shapes can be really uncomfortable, but in this case, we're coming from this. You have to go down 3 frets here, but it's just whole step, half step, whole step, which as diatonic 4 finger per string shapes go, that's about as friendly as it's going to get. Keeping the small intervals between your 2 middle fingers is always going to be a lot easier. So yeah, lots of stuff going on in this, but You notice I've kind of truncated things or lengthened them to get them from things that are 6 notes long into 8 or 4 notes long, right? So in the very beginning, you can see that that's just 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 plus 6, 16, right? As long as you have the right number of notes to make your measures full, perfectly full, you can then proceed to accent them confidently. So just kind of how I arrived at that. I just counted through what it actually was and decided, yeah, we're doing 16th notes this week. Then I just did another thing, since I already established that that whole thing was 16. All right, cool, let's do that 8-note thing that I do with these standard arpeggios. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Then do something else and make it be 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I was like, basically, how can I get it up to 16? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, good. Just now I can do the change right there. I would have just kept going across that arpeggio. However far I had to go until I arrived at 16 events. So just to be able to give you that sort of insight into my thought process and how this ended up happening. It was not totally an accident. It was about me exhausting the number of remaining subbeats in the measure all the way up to the time of the chord change and the measure change. So I would have counted up to 16 and then moved over to the nearest note of that C sharp major arpeggio. So, and that is what happened. It just happened to be the D. So I was just a half step away from the actual root note of the next chord. So melodically it worked out very conveniently, but it was pure accident, and I would have made it work another way if it was a different note. So if I had not gone, let's say I skipped that. Let's see. Yeah, would have been that. I might have gone like that, right? There's options, right? I would have worked my way back to the C sharp or one of its chord tones as soon as possible, but specifically on that beat either way. So that's sort of what I'm doing, is I use the arpeggio as a series of notes that definitely work in this context, and then finish out the remaining empty subbeats of the measure. So it is a little bit of a game of quantity, really. As much as the quality is something we want to aim for, don't forget that rhythm demands quantities be fulfilled. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of, again, share that thought process with you for when you write your own solos, because that is kind of a part of it. You know, you have to fill in the empty beats somehow. So anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and click up here to get the tab. It'll take you over to the Shred Mentor Patreon. And of course, if you're already watching on the Shred Mentor Patreon, it's down below in the attachments, along with the backing track to what I played, as well as just the playthrough isolated in case you want to watch exactly how I played it over and over without all this lesson stuff attached. But be sure to let me know in the comments down below what you found to be the hardest part of this whole thing. And until next time, rock on.